was walking through the forest today, and I found the greatest thing. I found a house made out of gingerbread. And this kindly little old lady was like, "Oh, would you like to come back for supper?" So, of course, I said yes. So, hey, we got dinner plans tonight.
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Because it doesn't bode well for anyone.
Uh,
Especially not
Name one.
Hansel and
Name one.
Gretel.
Okay, you named two. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the J&L Chronicles.
Hey, everyone.
So, how did it not bode well for Hansel and Gretel?
Well, today we're talking about the true story behind Hansel and Gretel. Trigger warning, there'll be a little bit of, well, there's cannibalism and infanticide, but it's not gory or anything. Just letting you
Sounds a
know.
little on the gory side.
What the stories are based on. So, if you don't know the story of Hansel and Gretel, the mother or stepmother convinces the father to abandon the children in the forest, and the kids hear, Hansel hears it and says to himself, I better get some rocks or something to find my way home, and he drops them along the way and he finds his way home. So then they dump them a second time, and Hansel drops breadcrumbs, but this time the birds eat them.
As birds do.
Yeah, and so they can't get home, and so they're wandering around the forest. They're starving, and they come upon a gingerbread house with candy on it and all sorts of stuff. So they go up and they start tearing it up,
Sounds pretty
eating the
sweet.
house. I don't like gingerbread, so it doesn't sound sweet to me, personally. But if one was really hungry, I suppose you could force gingerbread down.
But it would be dirty gingerbread. It's outside.
Yeah, what about the rain? Wouldn't it have...
Soggied it up?
yeah.
Huh. Witch magic.
Oh, yeah.
But, there's animals like...
So the witch wants to... invites them in and starts fattening Hansel up to eat him. And before she's able to eat him, Gretel pushes the witch in the oven before she's able to put Hansel in the oven. And they take the witch's treasure and they go home and they live happily ever after. Not so in with the true story behind Hansel and Gretel. Yeah.
So, in the true story, there isn't a happy ending? Where they kill the
No.
witch and...
Well, there's no witches. Well,
Oh, okay. So a little bit less,
so the brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm, uh, between 1812 and 1857, they published over 200 different editions of what we know now as Grimm's fairy tales.
Mm.
And they were passionate about Germanic folklore. They were German, so they collected folklore and folk stories and based their stories off of that. So that's where it comes in. Uh, his stories, they also feature, well-known characters like Cinderella, Snow White, Little Red Riding Hood, Rumpelstiltskin, Rapunzel, stuff like that.
Ah. So
So
basically the cast of Once Upon a Time.
yeah, a good show, by the way.
Yeah. If you ever want
I liked
to
it.
see some more adult versions of the Grimm fairy tales, that's a good one to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely enjoyed it. But there was a great famine between 1315 and 1317, and the crop failures lasted through there and all over Europe. And that wasn't the only problem. They had cattle disease, and that dropped the numbers of cows and sheep. They lost like 80%.
Sounds like everything just got screwed up back then.
Yeah, there was volcanoes and climate change that the volcanoes went off and caused a climate change, and it was just awful for them back
Mm.
then.
Volcanoes are notoriously bad times. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. In the process, elderly people volunteered for starvation to let the young people live.
Screw that. I'm gonna tell the young people, "Hey, Sonny, I need me some food," and like try and like guilt them into giving me food.
There was
I'm so old
food
and
was scarce.
hungry.
There was no food, barely any food.
Mm,
So people even ate their babies.
that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, they it it gets pretty dark. They
And
at one
darker than
time.
eating your babies?
Well, I mean,
How does it get darker than eating your babies?
well
Tell me one thing that's worse than eating your baby.
they dug up bodies from the cemeteries and got the skulls and started digging out the meat from the skulls and eating them.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's it's it's pretty
I
bad.
think I'd rather eat a baby.
Yeah, and women ate their children out of hunger
Jeez.
back then. So, out of that, these grim fairy tales, through the folklore and all that, were born. Uh, it, I noticed that those old stories are really, really grim.
How dare you? I'm the one that makes the puns around here.
Not today.
Not cool.
But hey, even the Disney was. I don't know who wrote Pinocchio offhand. We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
That was a pretty dark
That's some
movie.
pretty screwed up shit in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know who the heck marketed that towards kids. Or, like, I don't know what my mom was thinking when she showed me that movie. I don't think she remembered what was in it.
Yeah.
Watching a lot of stuff that I watched as a kid now, uh, it I wonder sometimes, like, why the heck did anyone let me watch this?
I know, right? Yeah.
Like, just like even some of the sitcoms from back in the day, uh, I, I wouldn't let my kid watch it, but maybe I'm just a little too sensitive about that type of stuff.
Oh. Well,
Actually, if it shut my kid up, I'd probably let him watch it. Never mind.
I'm lucky my son Tim grew up in the Disney Channel and
Uh,
Nickelodeon days.
yeah, see, I grew up without cable, so we didn't have Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. We had pretty much just daytime talk shows.
Mm.
So I had Maury Povich and
Oh,
Sally
yeah.
Jesse Raphael.
Yeah, I watched those too. What was that other show? Um, the brunette or black haired.
Oh,
I've gone blank on her name. I know who she is.
yeah, there were two. There were so many daytime talk shows back then.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous. Montel, uh, Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake, yeah.
Yeah,
The Ricky Lake show had some pretty crazy stuff on it
yeah,
too.
and of course Jerry Springer.
And then I'd watch the core programs. And
Yeah, it got lousy with the court programs too.
yeah. Have you ever wondered what's behind a lot of these old, like, fairy tales or Disney movies, like the true stories.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, we've discussed it. Um, what other one is a big one that you can think of?
Well, I've always wondered about Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Like, was that just like, was it originally about like a woman who was being stalked by seven people,
Yeah, I
and
don't know.
then like her like crazy stepmom was like, "I'm gonna poison you because I want to be with those seven weirdos."
With the Seven Stalkers.
Yeah, and then uh, she's asleep, and some guy just comes up and a random guy comes up and kisses her. Like,
Yeah,
what the hell was up with that?
wasn't he supposed to be like Prince Charming or something? I
Yeah, but
think.
she didn't
Or
know him.
I know it's weird, right?
It's like, what the hell's Prince Charming doing going around kissing corpses? Like the
All
backstory of
weird.
Prince
I don't
Charming
know if
and
that's
his
Prince
weird
Charming.
kink.
I don't. It might be a different.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Prince Charming. Like, Prince
Because
Charming's
I
freaking
don't know
weird.
if Prince Charming was the one from Cinderella or
Uh,
Snow White.
Cin-
All Grimm's fairy tales, anyways.
yeah, Cinderella was weird too.
Those Grimm brothers were pretty dark.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
look at the folklore that they built those stories
yeah.
on. But universally, they're known and people love the stories. Um,
Yeah.
it's just as an adult thinking about it, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, Cinderella was also always a weird story to me. Uh, like, where was her dad? If that was her stepmom and her stepsisters, then why isn't her dad putting his foot down, saying, "Hey, don't treat my daughter that way"?
I never saw the dad in the story.
No, neither did I. And if dad wasn't around, then she should have been like, "I'm out of here, ladies. Get peace. I'm out."
Yeah.
And then some guy with a crazy foot fetish likes her shoe and hunts her down, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'm not dressed nice, so I'm embarrassed to have him see me." And quite frankly, glass slippers, that sounds like the most uncomfortable slipper.
That does.
Like, come on.
That really does.
Uh,
I didn't think of it until you just mentioned it right
how'd they
now.
not break?
I suppose magic.
Yeah, could be true. Oh, she did have a fairy godmother.
Luckily.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know, all those children's stories are weird. Even children's TV shows are weird when you really look at them. Like,
Back in the day.
well, even like SpongeBob SquarePants, which I guess that's back in the day. It was on when I was in high school. Uh, watching SpongeBob, there's a lot of adult humor in that show.
Well, I think it's meant so the parents can watch with the kids.
Yeah. And the kids watch it when they get older and they can get something else out of it.
That's why I watched Toy Story or
Yeah.
any of those other things, watching
Yeah.
them with Tim.
Yeah, Disney movies back in the day, they were kind of weird.
Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not something kids should have been watching.
And that Rumpelstiltskin one, that's a real
Oh yeah,
weird story.
Rumpelstiltskin is creepy.
Yeah. Weird story.
Yeah.
Going back to that show, what was it called again? Once Upon a Time?
Yeah.
It was really good and has all those characters in it, but in real life today sense. Yeah. And it is done really well, and it's funny and horrifying. Yeah. It's a really good show.
And the guy who played Rumpelstiltskin was really good at being a villain.
Yeah.
And just to go off on a little bit of a tangent, it's a travesty that Stargate Universe was canceled. He was on Stargate Universe.
Mm.
One of the best sci-fi shows ever. Uh, it should be brought back. That's all I gotta say. Uh,
I know your passion for that.
it was a great
Mm.
show. I'll show it to you sometime. There's only like 1.5 seasons.
No, I've seen Stargate
Now
before.
Stargate Universe. Stargate Universe was way better than any of the other Stargates.
Oh.
They're like lost out in the middle of space.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the show.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was the same one that you watched.
Yeah. So the original story of Hansel and Gretel was basically uh, child neglect and we're hungry, we're gonna eat the boy.
Child neglect, abandonment, uh, survivalist
Yeah.
abilities.
Yeah, eating your son, that seems like some survival stuff to me. Uh
Yeah,
and
they had. There was an Italian guy that wrote that collected fairy tales too, and he wrote that uh, they took the mother killed the son and fed him to the dad, and he didn't even know.
mm,
And the sister took his heart and put it in a tree. And then when they were done with that, she didn't partake, but the dad ate because he didn't know. And then she put his bones after they were put his bones in the tree. And then the next
mm.
day, a cuckoo bird was like, "Cuckoo, my sister cooked me and my father ate me, but now I'm a cuckoo bird and I'm safe from my stepmother." Dark fairy tales.
Yeah.
They were really dark and it's always centered on two kids, girl and a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the story of Jack and Jill, because that was about
Oh
a brother and
gosh.
sister. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Uh
Jack fell down and broke his crown,
yeah.
and Jill came tumbling after.
Breaking your crown, isn't that your skull?
I I didn't know when I was a kid, but now that I'm thinking about it, I
So
assume so because I don't remember seeing a
so
crown on
Jack's
him.
dead. Jack's dead. Because back then I don't think you could heal a broken skull. I think back then you'd be pretty much gone. Sorry,
Mm.
Jack.
Wow, those old fairy tales and lullabies and
Oh yeah. Rockabye baby in the treetop. Who left the baby in a freaking tree?
and then
See,
it
who
falls.
leaves
And
a
then it
kid in a
falls
tree?
down. It falls, baby and all. Is the
There
end
was a
of that
lot of
song.
child neglect in those old songs.
Yeah, really. Oh, yeah. Maybe they were using that like people use the swings
Maybe.
because while the baby's swinging, mom can get some rest.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or I don't know. I was always awake when Tim was in the swing.
Mm,
Mm. Yeah, I don't know,
yeah. So,
but maybe that's
yeah. Comment down below if you uh, know of any old stories that when you look back at it, you think, what the hell were they thinking?
yeah,
Like, who said this? Who thought this was good for kids?
yeah. Well, the Brothers Grimm weren't expecting it to be read by kids.
Eh, true.
They did clean them up by the end, like
Yeah.
1857,
Well,
to a point.
there's a
To a
lot of
point, it was still dark though.
there are a lot of stories from current time that were made into kids shows or kids properties like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hmm.
Originally a comic book, not meant for kids, meant for, older teenagers to adults. Uh, a lot more brutal than the cartoon was.
Right.
Uh, Ghostbusters. Uh, the movies were very adult, not kids movies in the slightest. Uh, at one point Ray gets filleted by a ghost. Not really
He
something
gets
for
what?
filleted. He gets a little down and dirty with the ghost.
Oh.
Well, at least they
I don't
insinuate
remember
it.
that.
They insinuate it.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, not really something that was really made for kids. But then they made a cartoon, made it kid friendly, sold toys.
Yeah.
So
I remember
uh,
I used to take Tim to Pizza Hut because they had a Ninja Turtles game, and we liked to
the
play
Ninja
it.
Turtles arcade
It
game was
was
great.
it was a 4-player game. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they're coming out right now with what they're calling the Cowabunga collection. It's all the old classic Ninja Turtle games.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, all together in one collection.
Nice.
Yeah.
What system?
All of them.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think
That was a fun game.
I think I'm gonna pick that up because uh, the Turtles arcade game was great. All the old Turtles game. Well, there were a couple.
I don't think
Not
Tim
great
even
ones, but
remembers them. He was so young when I was taking him over there to play it.
yeah. Now I wonder, like in say a couple hundred years from now, are people going to be looking at the stories from today and thinking the same way we do when we
What
look?
the hell were they
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah,
Probably.
yeah. I'd have to assume so because it seems like history just tends to do that.
Unless things get really bad in the future.
Yeah, they're already getting pretty bad. Comment down below if there's any stories from today that you think are going to be seen as inappropriate for children, that are seen as appropriate for children today.
Or any that you remember and now you think about it, you're like, wait a minute. What? I do that all the time. Like, wait a second. What?
Yeah, I've gone on YouTube and looked at clips of old cartoons that I feel nostalgic about and been like, what was I watching?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who let me watch this?
Yeah.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And
thanks for spending your time with us today. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
And dislike the video if you dislike it. But remember, if you dislike it, I'm going to ruin your childhood TV shows.
Oh. Say it ain't so.
Oh, I'm so doing it. Actually, that'll be another episode. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. Peace.
And don't eat your babies.
No.